See, that is what you like to see. Not quite sinking just yet, but it's certainly submerging. Hello, and welcome back everyone to War on the Sea. We are in a very spicy position as ever, and it's only the third episode, not even day 3 of our campaign. We are currently fleeing a Heathen-led task force. I believe a Heathen, Okongo and 2 Miyokos escorting a couple... escorted by a few destroyers and a couple of light cruisers. They are right on our tail. Last we saw over Battle Force 1. We have these summers over here going back to rest and repair. Believe we have actually managed to reinforce ourselves. We certainly have got some new destroyers over here to replace that and the lost Benham previously. We did hit and sight a Shokaku fleet carrier roughly around this area here. Gonna try, I think, be very, very naughty. Very, very naughty indeed. Just push up a little bit over there, but we can scout around for more submarines over here. Just some randomish move orders here. We did take a torpedo on, I believe, yeah, the Charles Lawrence over here with the magazine area certainly out of action. We very, very nearly lost that ship. Not the most consequential of losses in the grand scheme of things, but we're certainly going to move all the way back down here. That's going to take 33.6 hours to get over to rest and repair and rearm all of our ships there. So not to worry, that's not really a lot going on over there, to be honest. But it's some scouting that we're missing out on. The aim for today is to make sure our Rennell Island invasion goes off all fine. We might try and push in again on the Shortland Islands on a nighttime raid and bombard that, so the enemy have less radar coverage in the centre of the Solomon Sea over here, and of course less planes to come out and attack with that, because less planes to deal with is always best for us. We might also try and get some destroyers out to these 3 neutral islands over here, just to get some more command points in and get some more radar up. I'd love to upgrade New Georgia and get some radar going and some air reinforcements there for us. That'd be absolutely crucial to get that central foothold in the Guadalcanal chain over here. So without any further ado, let's get going. Well, guys. Trying to retreat back to our base overnight, and we've been intercepted, as you can see, by the main enemy task force, actually trying to intercept our own battle force. They've come across our ASW group, and that's not good. We're very, very likely to lose all of our destroyers here before we can even disengage properly. So what we're going to do, I was expecting a sonar contact here, so we're going to full speed ahead, and what we're going to do is actually, I think we're going to fire out some spotting shells on everything we've targeted so far, and that is not so much to do some damage but more to actually get up our solutions so that we can fire out some torpedoes. And we are short range, we're 7.2 kilometers away, so we're certainly in range over here. We're also going to get some smoke up, actually. That might be a decent idea. We're going to try and turn out a little bit, but we do really want those torpedoes out. Let's see what we can do. What is that saying? Need a solution to the Congo, please. We hold on that. Will that get the torpedo tubes? No, not going to hold there, unfortunately. Just want them to turn out ready, to be honest. See, they're missing it so far, but they do have their searchlights out and already firing at us. Very quick to react is the enemy there. And we are very, very close, actually, to a decent solution. I think that's pretty much the best we're going to get. So let's fire out as quickly as possible before we do actually lose our torpedoes over here. Well, I can't fire us on the Sendai. Do we need to turn in? I think we might need to turn in here. Let's just slow down our speeds a tad and turn out with these leading destroyers. I think we're going to lose the Lansdale over here. Already ripped apart over here. Absolutely disgusting. Why can't we fire on this Sendai? No solution. I think we need to turn in, really, don't we, for that? And that's a shame. If we fire it with this, we certainly can, but it's a terrible solution. And the enemy is turning round, unfortunately, so I'm highly doubting any of these torpedoes will hit at all, and we have already lost the Lansdale here. We need to start firing out. We need to turn around to our starboard then, if that's going to be the case with the enemy's manoeuvres over here. How are we doing with the leading ship, the Madison? Let's just turn out over here as quickly as possible. We did have full speed. Oh, look at that, so quick, but they have so many guns on us over here. So many guns. Just gonna have to say goodbye to these destroyers, get any torpedoes out that we possibly can, and just hope, really, and hope we don't get any duds if we do even hits, because look at the manoeuvres over here. Let's actually try and get this out once again. That's not good enough, unfortunately. Which way do we think they're going to turn? Let's give them something else, just a random mangle fire up. The Madison has suffered a magazine explosion. Not good at all there. Just fire out where we can here. Get the speed up as well. And we're going to start losing these two destroyers now. But unfortunately, there's not much else we can do. Yeah, Madison's sinking over here. Very sad indeed. But we do, of course, as the Americans, have destroyers in droves to spare, so we can't get any out anytime soon due to not having any command points to spend. And that is a shame. What I might do is replace our new type gunboats, send them all to rest and repair so that we do get reimbursed the points there for them, and get some more destroyers or something else, just a bit beefier to actually tackle enemies. It's going to have to be a destroyer force, if anything, though, because they're only 5 command points a pop, those gunboats. But look, we are certainly going to be losing our destroyers here. All we can do is just wait for these torpedoes and hope the enemy doesn't kite away too hard. What is our torpedo range? 13 kilometers. We should be okay to catch up over there. But the speed is only 26.5 knots, so we'll see about that. The enemy's certainly manoeuvring round to avoid them. Well, I think the time is now to actually press the retreat button and disengage. We can see we've just barely managed to evade some enemy torpedoes, but we're no longer under enemy fire, so we're actually going to hold over here just to make sure we are not getting spotted. Although, having said that, the Anderson over here quite likely going to get scuttled if we retreat now due to the damage, but it is still under fire. But we can see that the enemy not likely to take any torpedoes over here. They completely missed with all of our also fired torpedoes. Massive waste there, especially since the enemy not too sure what it wants to do with its formation. If we went for a mangle attack and just went straight into the centre of their formation, would have got something there. But we weren't to know. Just assuming, quite wrongly, that the AI actually does have half a brain. In fact, I think they're hitting their own ships here. If we just pull the UI away, we might get a clearer view of that. Watch out for their secondaries. Yeah, they're actually doing, I think they've deactivated a turret or two over here, which is... forget about that. Having said that, if these Sendais carry on in the same course, they might just take a torpedo or two here. So we're looking at losing all of our destroyers anyway. We're just going to get the Hughes out. We might just be able to salvage this one since it's not firing anymore, not giving any muzzle flashes away in thick smoke, and the Anderson has now sunk. So we'll do that. See if these Sendais might just take a torpedo here. We want to get something out of this at least, don't we? Well, we did decide to retreat in the end there before our torpedoes got anywhere near those Sendais. The Sendais did actually outrun the torpedoes and were not in any danger of getting hit, unfortunately. The enemy over here did take some moderate damage to a destroyer. Not because of anything we've done, but because of what they have done, just ramming into each other. So we did lose 3 destroyers there, Madison, Lansdale and Anderson, but it's really not the heaviest of losses. I can certainly deal with it. Don't want to, no one ever does, but we're going to certainly send the Hughes back all the way around to rest and repair once again. It's just not needed. So that brings the tally up to our 4 destroyers lost to the enemy small task force and a few submarines over here. So, I mean, winning in that regard, but just we really can't push into that enemy task force with this current standing battle force. We do need 2 battleships at the very least to stand up to that, unfortunately. and that's not going to happen until we get resupplied. So we'll look at that in the future, of course. Okay, so Task Force 18 of 4 troop transport Clemsons with 400 troops and 300 supplies is about to unload cargo to reinforce Rennell Island, and we certainly have done so fairly well. Little, I would say, well, certainly not quite undersupplied, but that will burn down quite quickly. We'll be undersupplied over the next turn of the day, but I think we can certainly live with that. We need to start looking at getting these neutral islands over here. We can certainly take Rennell Island as that stands. So we are going to come straight back. We have our summers in the dockyard now. It's going to take 8 days to repair. That's not to worry so much. We're going to bring Battle Force 1 over just to stock back up on planes and ammo. And then we can rush over. I think we're going to come northwards over here to scout a little harder the northern regions. We did sight a couple very nasty task forces over here, so it's not completely empty and without danger, but at least over here what we can do is bring up some Mariner and Catalina support. Mild as it might be, it's better than what we have been able to do recently. And we'll carry on when possible to actually bring out some bow fighters and such to scout out around the south of the Solomon Sea over here and south of the Shortland Islands. So keep active over here, of course. We're very close to getting our taskforce over here to rest and repair as well. We will still have to wait at least 4 days for 3 of those to go through, I believe, to get reimbursed for those. You can see we are being scouted out and certainly would have been spotted within this radar range, so waited to see if any more further aircraft come round from the north, perhaps from a CV perhaps. But otherwise not really a lot else going on because we are retreating, of course. We're not pushing too aggressively at the moment, so we're not going to spot anything if we're not being aggressive. We do have to be cautious, of course. We are very limited. It's fine to lose a few destroyers here and there, but to be put back so at the moment at this stage of the game by losing a battleship or a couple of heavy cruisers, we're not going to be able to recover from that very easily at all. So playing it safe, poking around here and there, we'll see what we can do. Let's go. Okay, so a few hours have turned by and we are moving Battle Force 1 north of Guadalcanal to reach round the northern parts of the Solomon Islands chain. And we have sighted what was denoted an enemy battleship task force. Let's get a bit closer. We can see an Issei. However, the line formation suggests that there's not the greatest amount of ships here. Let's go from front to back. We have a Kagaroa Sasho Yugmo at the start over here. We have the same at the number 2. We have a Sendai, as denoted by the 4 funnels at this position. And we have a Kitakami behind. Very, very interesting indeed. And we do have a Hatsuharu at the rear. So I think we can certainly take this on. With an enemy battleship there, we're going to want to keep this at range so that we can focus on this with our heavier guns and keep our destroyers out, reduce the enemy's aim, and make sure that they don't have so many guns pointing at us either. Of course. So that's not so bad. I think we can certainly take this on if we get rid of this Issei fairly quickly. But of course, when's it ever going to go according to plan like that? So what we're going to do is, of course, mark that up. That's just over here. If we mark that as battleship once again, there we go. So that's not too far away. If you use a rangefinder, for those that don't know, if you press /, you can bring up a rangefinder like this, and that's 281 kilometers away from us. It's not too bad at all. Let's get going. Maybe we can try and get an engagement with that. We're not currently moving. We'll move out that way anyway, just to stay well out of the enemy's radar range, but we will still push in to see if we can bombard Shortland later on. Alrighty everyone, so we are in danger zone here. We have actually sighted, if you remember, the Unryu and Shokaku task force towards the north. We have sighted that very, very close to our southwesterly position. We are certainly under attack by their dive bombers here. Not a lot we can do at the moment about that then. Just going to have to take the brunt of the force here and hope it's just the one aircraft carrier's flight over here, but there's plenty more where that came from. So we're just going to have to go full speed, try and do a few turns over here, tiny turn with the lead, and we'll see what happens as the enemy get closer. We're also firing flak at the moment just to get things out, laying smoke, going full speed where possible. And I think what we're going to do, I think they're trying to go for the battleship over here. So we're going to turn out a tad, increase our speed a little bit as well. And I think we'll do the same over here with our Brooklyn if possible. We've shot down one Val already. Of course, a couple Val hits here and there. Not going to be too bothersome, but they will, of course, add up in their damage. And this is the cumulative damage to watch out for, these Vals. So that's one flight dealt with. This one appears to be going for the rear Benson over here. They should be okay with that. Likely going to hit one of these and down one of these before that comes in. I'm more worried about this group over here. Should be okay. Yeah, just gonna manually take over there. They should have dropped. Yeah, they certainly dropped, but they have missed over here. Excellent. We are getting some small arms and flak out onto this one, who is going for the Portland. Gonna turn to our port side then over here. As I go down to one aircraft of this flight. Come on. Come on. There's another one down. Before you drop, would be nice. They have dropped. Can we see? That's just a couple hits there with the more minor bombs by the looks of things. So a little bit of structural damage on the outside here, a little bit on the funnel, but that should be fine. The general integrity is sketchy, but not much else we can do. Where's this flight going? Is that towards the Atlanta there? It certainly is. I think we need to just carry on that turn, make it a harder turn. Starboard there. One more down, but not quite enough. I think it did drop. And that is another central hit there, but nothing too bad there once again. So what we're going to do is we're going to tell everyone to stop, get on top of our repairs, make sure we don't collide with any of our own ships, and we should be fine. And we should be able to make sure we get some more planes on their retreats there, which will be very nice indeed. It is this Portland that's taking the most damage, but nothing we can't handle too badly there. That's not so bad. Thank God for that, eh? But more air attacks to come later on, I imagine. We're just firing a bit of flak out here, but I wouldn't stay too hopeful about that. Okay, so we can see over here just how close those carriers should be when they were last spotted. That's 154 kilometers away, right on our doorstep there. The only thing really making me hesitate about that is they do have a Congo and an Issei in support there. If it were even just the one battleship, I would not hesitate to go straight in there. Even just to down a carrier as quickly as possible. And then retreat. We don't have to stay in for a prolonged engagement there. I think that would serve us worse out there. So we're going to try and push in anyway. We have been spotted. That's going to take a few hours to get over there. The goal of this expedition is still to go for the Shortland Islands. Let's just see as quickly as it takes. So that's going to be 11 hours over there. So it might as well go in that course anyway, because we are going to be intercepting the enemy's proposed course like that. So all we can do is rush in. 11 hours. I do apologise if you can hear motorbikes outside. It's bloody midnight and there's bastards outside like that. Do apologise. Let's carry on, see if we can get to the Shortland Islands and maybe intercept this carrier force very quickly. Okay guys, we've got a fairly interesting position here. We did sight previously the Issei task force towards the north, and we have been intercepted by that. So you can see the same line formation over here. The general distance, let's take a quick look and actually target the Issei, is 19.8 kilometers. That's not so bad for us. We're certainly going to be aiming for that. So we're going to be narrow spotting over there. Let's get a identification on that. So go to battleship and Issei like so. Excellent stuff. Do that with our heavy cruisers and of course our battleship. That would be excellent if you could do that. To get those through. But to our rear, we have also sighted a flight of Vals. So what I'm going to do is take everything else and also fire flak for them. And that'll do for now. I'll just double check our main gun range on our DDs. That's 15.9. What about the Atlanta? Should be the same. And the Brooklyn is 23.5 actually, so we're certainly in range to start bringing some hurt over. I think we start firing really onto the Sendai with that. So we'll do that. We'll fire AP of course, and we'll get an identification on that to help out our solution. General visibility is, let's have a look, 47%, not too bad. We'll start crossing their T so that we can of course get more guns firing on them and start kiting away. We've got a bit of a cloud layer going on, so that's not so bad. We'll just kite away a tad like so. In fact, I might make that a tad steeper actually, like that for now. We'll see how that goes. We'll have to just wait and see. We'll hold out actually with our South Dakota to begin with, just so that we're not wasting quite so many shots. Wait for our solution to build up a tad. Do have a couple Kingfishers out, so what I'm going to do is just circle round over here, keep that spotting going there. Don't need to go really fast, don't need to go very closely. Is it just a single vow? Does appear to be the case. It is armed, so it is a minor threat, but it should be okay with just a single vow. How are we doing with our solutions? Getting up there, 70 and growing, so we'll give that a firing order very soon. We'll keep that as spotting, just so we do maintain a decent solution there. We'll let that rise, see if it gets a 90. It seems to be piddling about there. Come on, get to 90. That'll do us. That bugger it. We'll go to a 84 there. We'll see how we're landing. What's that? 19.4 kilometers there. See how that's going. Of course, the Issei is far more a broadsiding ship. Very classic Japanese design, having the broadside there. As compared to our American ships, we do have 6 guns firing at the front with our South Dakota. Gets some very, very close misses there, very near misses to the real technical term, of course. Looks like they're trying to broadside, of course, not only to get their battleship guns firing, but of course to watch out for their torpedoes. We did see that fired against our destroyers previously, so the enemy's not going to sit idly by with them. In fact, are they turning out just yet? Not quite. But we shouldn't quite be in range. I forget the exact range of Japanese torpedoes. But if we manoeuvre away and kite away, that shouldn't be so much of a problem there. Taking a very slow turn on their rear guns over here. We have got 1 or 2 glancing shots already hitting the Issei over here. It's going to take a lot more than that. A lot more than that. We'd love to hit their funnel actually, to make them dead in the water. Maybe even their rudder, of course. But that's wishful thinking. What have we spotted there? Just re-establish contact with number 6. We did shoot down the vow. That's all good. How are we doing over here? Are we taking any near misses of anything? Nothing is reporting fires and flooding. Oh, we got a flood on the rear of our South Dakota. That's not ideal, of course. Not ideal, but I think we can take it. Got a very nice solution actually now at 99. Oh, just about catching there an explosion over here. We can see some fires up on the east, so that's going to be minor damage over there. Very nice indeed. It looks like we might actually have deactivated one of their main battery guns, their number 3 turret over here. That won't stay down forever, but it's something. Quite a nice early hit actually, very nice early hit. How are we doing against the Sendai? I should be seeing some shots going towards that. I'll just go out to our Brooklyn and make sure that is going out. Need to make sure we do have a line of sight there. We certainly do with our front turrets. Just get that firing out again there. Gonna want to increase our speed, I think. Tempted to get smoke out, really. We do have a decent solution. I think we get smoke out with everything to begin with over here. Doesn't hurt too much. We can turn this off later if it is really hampering our solutions. What's the speed? 21 knots over there. Not too confident with my ability to manual fire. I think auto fire is probably the best way to go. We are getting some minor hits over there. With the plunging fire of our heavy cruiser guns, I think we'll be fine there. Guessing their bridge over here. Hopefully that hits a director. Did I see this firing out? They did see the Kisakami firing out. Their destroyers are firing out. Wouldn't have expected them. I think they're firing us our Kingfisher though. Double check their ranges. Let's go to... Yeah, let's go to Kisakami. And that is 22 kilometers actually with the Kisakami. That is in range. What about their... what about, let's go to Asashio. 18.3, so they are in range. That's very interesting. Should be in range with our own destroyers. Double check that then. Not quite. That's very interesting that we're not quite in range with our own destroyers. Double check over here actually. We're in range of these destroyers. Certainly start firing on these then with our Atlanta. Just pause then. Think about calling that a... Call that a Yugumo for now. Get some HE spotting on that. Very nicely indeed. And we'll go with our destroyers as well onto that. Just focus fire massively to begin with and get that going. Because that will really hurt our own destroyers if we start getting hit, of course. Of course, we missed out on that as well. Come on. That should be fine there. Let's get going. And that is absolutely massive, just as they're trying to get into another cinematic shot. I need to do this more often. It seems to be a bit of a curse. We've exploded the front-facing magazine of the Issei over here. And you know what? If we can down the Issei, that battle is absolutely won in our favour. Let's just double-check the South Dakota, not get ahead of ourselves. We have got on top of the flooding over here. And I think since that's down, what we can do is cancel our smoke. Make sure we do get the better solutions. We're not doing too badly on them as it stands. And what we can do is give some more manoeuvres over here. Very soft turnaround. Not too sure what the Brooklyn's doing over here. Gonna have to watch out for that. How we're doing with the Yugumo should be starting to get some shots around there. What is the... That might actually well be a Yugumo. Let's re-identify that just to double check that. Let's turn it to a Sashio. Wavering. What about Kagero? I think that's trying to increase, so keep that as Kagero. How are we doing over here then? Oh, that's what you like to see. That is what you like to see. Not quite sinking just yet, but it's certainly submerging. That can't be too healthy for it, but all of those rear guns are still firing, and we do not like to see that. But its speed, if we go to the Northampton, is now 9 knots. And once that's down, we'll start focusing on the light cruisers and such a little harder. How are we doing with this Sendai actually? Doesn't seem we're getting any hits on here. Let's take a quick report. The Issei is sinking. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Oh, we can do this then. That's 5 command points already. We absolutely need those. So we're going to move over to the Sendai now. I got some AP spotting over there. South Dakota can fire at that as well. So we should have that and the Brooklyn firing on there. So I think we are going to start firing on the Kisakami as well. It's not looking like it's firing off any torpedoes just yet. And so thank God for that. Let's go around over here. That'll do. Excellent stuff. Oh, that is a godsend, that magazine explosion. Another secondary explosion. Just to add insult to injury. Rub salt in the wound there. So how are we doing against this Kagero? Do still need a few more closer hits there. What's our saluters looking like? They're around the 70s. Not so bad. Very good with the Atlanta. We are taking hits. There are actually some very nasty hits with the Atlanta. I'd imagine they are really focusing that down actually. So let's get some smoke back up on there. Well, I think with the progress we're making, we're going to turn very hard into the enemy now. Just try and get rid of the Kisakami and these two ships over here, the two Kagados. We have got on top of the fires that the Atlanta was suffering. However, we have permanently lost one general compartment over here. Not the end of the world, of course. Our speed is still doing fairly well. It's a good capacity there. Efficiency generally at 99%. Not so bad over there. The South Dakota rather, doing okay. Lost a bit of integrity on the bow and some general damage across the board there, but nothing that hurts us too much. Not taking any extra fire on our own destroyers, which is all good. So this cargo should be scuttled. How could that not be? Really waiting for those fires to seep into the greater depths of that ship and hit the magazine perhaps. And we are getting some fires on this cargo over here. Starting to take some hits. It's taking fire from all of our destroyers and light cruisers. We're focusing on larger guns onto this Kisakami, which looks like it might be trying to retreat here. It's not turning its torpedoes for us, which is a good sign, because that's a lot of torpedoes potentially inbound for us. But we were turning away from them. They have certainly closed a distance generally though, and that's not to worry there. Looks like they might actually be trying to fire on this Kingfisher over here, and I can certainly live with that. That just distracts the enemy's dual-purpose guns from the destroyers over here, and that is excellent. So we're just going to make sure the Kingfisher does actually circle round. I don't want to do that, so it looks like we've just selected the Benson instead, so we'll just form back up to a battle line here. That'll be good. Don't know why it's doing that. It's certainly selected the Kingfisher, but get back on that. Turn around here. Let's give it a bit of a circle. Do the same over here is all good. So just waiting now for some more hits to come in. A good report will tell us that the number one's critical to critical, 2 heavy to heavy, and the Kisakami's heavy to moderate. So just need a few more direct hits on here to spread out the damage. Of course, I'd love them on the bow where the guns are concentrated on the Kisakami. It actually has 0 on the rear of the ship there. And actually, that is the number one down. Finally succumbed to the fires and flooding there, which is excellent. How's this one looking? We haven't actually targeted the Hatsuharu yet, but I think once we get the Kisakami down and this Kagero now, we have done damage to them. I think we just call it a day there. There's no need to waste so much ammo on a lone destroyer there. We need the ammo for a bombardment or 2, I think. Or even if we do get intercepted by the enemy Unryu and Shokaku on our way there, we're going to need the ammo for that, of course. And there we go. Very, very nice engagement, if I may say so there. Another enemy battleship down, or the first actually, of our campaign, which is excellent. Few destroyers, couple light cruisers, excellent. Just the one destroyer is going to escape that. We have 11 command points from that. Just going to double check. I don't think the Issei battleships got an increase in number. Let's have a look. No, there's only 2 available. Excellent. We've got the Hyuga there, and we know that the other Issei is actually with this particular force over here. But that is unfortunately all we have time for today, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have enjoyed the video. That's been excellent, I think. Been very, very fun today. Getting that lovely service engagement. Even though we did lose those destroyers at the beginning, I think that certainly makes up for it in my book. So please do leave your feedback in the comments section below. It's always very, very, very pleasant to read those, and very, very helpful indeed. And I hope to see you for the next episode, which should be tomorrow. See you then. In the meantime, may all of your nights and days be auspicious. Goodbye.